Hey friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and I am so excited that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me because today we have my last reading vlog of 2025. So this is me in the last 2 weeks or so, weekish, whatever of December, wrapping up all the books that I can before the end of 2025. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. There's no rhyme or reason to these books. It's just what I ended up picking up. So yeah, hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. Okay, let us talk about Love Arranged, the third and final book in the Lakefront Billionaires series by Lauren Asher. I was both looking forward to and kind of sad that this will be rounding out a series that I have thoroughly enjoyed the first two books in, and it's just kind of well sad to be leaving these characters, you know what I'm saying? So we have Lorenzo. It says 5 months, two people in love, one fake relationship with an expiration date. Sounds simple enough, but Lily and I have history, so when she volunteers to date me so I can improve my public image, I should say no. Our past complicates everything, but since my future depends on her, I agreed to her plan. Faking it for the public is expected, but falling in love in private, that isn't part of our arrangement. And we have Lily using a dating app. Sounded like a great idea up until I discovered Lorenzo was my match. My sister's boyfriend hates him. My mom is wary of him. And me, I spent the last year avoiding him. But when my business is threatened, I'm forced into teaming up with Lorenzo to save it. All I need to do is help him win the mayoral election, and he promises to protect my shop. It doesn't take me long to learn that I'm not cut out for fake relationships, but Lorenzo, he isn't capable of a real one. All right, let's get into it, y'all. So the way Lorenzo handled that first situation was very much an asshole move, and I see how it's shaping up to get us on his side and to get us to feel sorry for him and his actions. But I just wasn't buying it. I wasn't buying what Lauren Asher was trying to sell me. Like, Lorenzo fully knew that what he did to Lily was very much an asshole move. He did not have to do it. He chose to do it, but because of his past and things that have happened to him, I'm supposed to feel sorry for him and excuse his actions. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I also felt like Lily was I guess I should have started out by saying, like, these characters together just didn't do it for me. And like I mentioned before with Lorenzo, and then with Lily, it felt like she was so stubborn and not about the right things, and it just felt very annoying. I honestly don't think either of them were likable main characters, or maybe they would have been likable with a different love interest. I don't know, something just wasn't clicking for me. And we did not get the best first impressions of either of these characters. So it was hard to, like, endear yourself to either one of them or, root for them in any type of way. Yeah, they weren't painted in the best light from jump. I was also annoyed because I really just I wanted to love this. Okay, I rated Love Redesigned, the first book, 5 stars. I rated the second book, Love Unwritten, 4 stars, and then to get to the last book and rate it a 2-star, like, what? My heart was crushed. Like, this just did not feel like the same series, the same writer. This was not a relationship that I was rooting for. It felt like they were going back and forth so many times, and it's like, okay, so this person has shown you what they're capable of, and you still keep giving them the benefit of the doubt, keep wanting to try, and they keep showing you who they are over and over again. How many times it's gonna take for you to realize, like, this is who that person is? And, like, yes, Lorenzo had a very traumatic past and had some bad things happen to him, but you're a full-grown adult, and if you know you need help, if you know you are struggling, like, he needed to be coddled in a way that I just did not feel like was healthy as a grown-ass man. And the way that he continually did things on purpose to hurt Lily, to push her away because he's not good enough for her, I'm not a fan of that. I just don't agree with that. I don't. And I don't I'm a person who loves a marriage convenience, fake dating. Like, that's my thing. And I couldn't even like get behind this one because it was just so much like trauma and hurt and like bad decisions and like mean things happening in like between these two. I just did not like it. I did not like this book. I barely even finished it. And you know, Lauren Asher's books, especially in this series, they are long. And I suffered through that book because I wanted to complete the series. B, I was hoping that it got better because it was the ending of a series that I really enjoyed. And yeah, I didn't get any of that. I just did not connect with Lily and Lorenzo at all. And I kind of wish I didn't read it just so my view of the series like wouldn't be tainted, because I'm going to find it hard to like, I usually do not recommend anything that I rate below a 3-star. So how can I recommend a series where one of the books are a 2-star? And I know they're technically interconnected standalones, but like, that's so frustrating because like Love Redesign is one of my favorite romances, and then you gave us this. No friend, no friend. I do not stand with I will not be recommending Love Arranged. I will be trying to even forget that I read this book. So yeah, that's unfortunate. And moving on to hopefully happier things. So, Heavenly Bodies by Imani Erriu is a romantasy where we follow Alara, who has been cursed by fate. There's a prophecy that claims that she will fall for a star, which is the name for gods in this world, and it will kill both of them. And so we have Ariette, who is the star of wrath and war. He descends to wreak havoc on Alara's kingdom of night. She flees, only to be captured by the neighboring Helios, which is the kingdom of light, and falls straight into the arms of an enemy prince. Fearing that Ariette might turn his sights to Helios next, Prince Lorenzo is forced to train Alara as a weapon, one worthy of battling against the tyrannical reign of the stars. But there are shadows even within the kingdom of light, and they threaten to reveal the darkness in Lorenzo's past and the ancient magic that slumbers in Alara's veins. And with it all comes an undeniable star-crossed pull between Alara and Lorenzo that neither can seem to resist. So right off the bat, Alara and Enzo had a lot of good banter, and y'all know I love me some banter. Like, that's gonna get me every time. And the way that they talked to each other, I was cackling, I was giggling, I was blushing. It was very cute, and I was here for it. I always love a book where I am actively rooting for the main characters, but I also love books that make me love the side characters as well. And Marissa and Leo are definitely some of my favorite side characters, and I hope that we get more of them as the series goes on. When I started this book and the further I got into it, I could tell that I was being set up for my heart to be broken. And friends, I was very much correct. This ends in the most heartbreaking way imaginable for these characters, and I just felt it when I started, you know? So I was able to prepare myself for it, but it still hurt. As much as I liked these characters, Alora still had that thing that most main characters in romanticies do, where she does not think. She is all gas, no brakes. And I'm just like, sis, if you had sat and like actually thought through this situation and made a plan, it might have turned out differently for you. It might have turned out better for everybody involved. But you just so ready to act and don't even know. You don't even know. Along with that, Alara does not follow instructions, even when they have a plan set. So I'm like, sis, there is no winning with you. Like, come on now. Come on. Get it together. What? Get it together. Just be out here doing shit. I wanted to like Enzo, and I did like him, but something in the back of my mind as I was reading, I was like, this too simple. Enzo, he knows something. He gonna do something. Like I'm just not. And then the plot twist. But I think by the end of it, I had kind of let go of that. But I'm not sure. This is supposed to be a 5 book series. So there's still plenty of time and page for Enzo to disappoint me. And I have no reason why I think he would. It's just something. It's something. I don't know. The ending had so much going on. There's just plot twist after plot twist after reveal, and the action is just going, 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 going. And I was having to like slow all the way down, reread passages just to like try to make it make sense to me. And I'm like, why is so much packed into this ending? This is a 5 book series, baby. We got time. You didn't have to throw it all in and just hit me over the head with it and continuously hit me over the head with it. Like, just ease me into it. Just give me a minute. Like, I can't keep up. But it ended up making sense. It just felt like a lot for the little bit of time that we had. Now, from what I had heard about this and just the people that I've seen read this, I thought it was going to be a 5 star for me. It was not. It was a 4 star. It was still really good. I still really enjoyed it. I just didn't love it like I thought I would, but I can see the potential. And possibly there may be a 5 star book in this series for me. Yet I am going to continue on. I'm excited to see where we go. I've heard good things about the sequel and I own it already. So it's going to get read. But yeah, I'm just happy to be in the know because I have known about this book for so long back when it was indie published and people were reading it and loving it. And to finally know what everybody was talking about, it was good. And this is definitely something that I will be recommending. I love anything celestial, dealing with the stars and whatever. Y'all hear my throat. Wow, voice is getting scratchy. But yeah, I love a celestial fantasy, so I'm excited to see where we go from here. Okay, it's time to talk about Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. And this book is very interesting. So it says, welcome to Blackwood Academy, the legendary school located on the fringes of the afterlife. Once a pupil enters the academy's arched gates, there is no way out except for the decennial, a once in a decade celebration in which a single worthy student is tested and given a choice: graduate and join Blackwood's magical elite, or cross over to the mysterious other side. This time, though, the rules have changed. The decennial isn't a celebration, it's a competition, and there can only be one victor. So, in this, we have 6 main characters. All of the main characters have POVs, and it is very reminiscent of the Atlas 6 to me. Like I was getting those vibes as soon as I started reading, but also in that way that what the competitors thought they were getting into at the beginning of the competition was not what they ended up getting into actually. So that vibe was there For sure. I do like how essentially everybody had like a partner. There were like three groups of, two, and each person had their person. And I really enjoyed that. It made the dynamics more digestible. Instead of having to kind of remember six people, you just had to remember three pairs and kind of how they interact within those pairs. So I really liked that and how different each of the main characters were. I was not getting confused with who is who. Now, I did immersive read this and had the audiobook going at the same time, and I thought that the audiobook really helped me as far as separating the characters because it was a full cast audiobook. Each person was narrated by a different person, and that always helps when trying to keep track of a lot of people in a book. I knew right off the bat when we met Headmaster Silas, I said, no, he's an evil man. And he is the one that we need to be watching because, yeah, no, he ain't giving what he's supposed to be giving, friend. And I had my eye on him the whole time. My little detective glass was up every time he was on the page. Because for whatever reason, that man just was not, he wasn't giving friend, he was giving foe. Now, whether I was right or not, you'll have to read this book to find out because that's a spoiler if I was to tell you either way. And here's the thing, I could not, for the life of me, figure out why I could not or was not connecting with this book. It had the setup to be everything that I love. I love an academy setting. I was very interested in how people talk about death and the afterlife, and also it's like a competition. We love trials. Like, it just had all the things that I like and that should have been automatic 5-star for me. And this just wasn't that. I wasn't disliking it. I was interested in the plot and where things were going. I liked seeing each individual character's storyline. I thought they were interesting, but I just didn't care. I wasn't actively rooting for anybody. I was just here. Of the three pairs, two of them were romantic, and both of them were getting on my nerves. As much as I love a good romance or a fantasy to have romantic elements, both of those couples were working my last nerve because nobody wanted to say anything. They each just wanted to skate around their feelings, and it was pissing me off because, like, either y'all gonna talk about it and get together or just leave each other alone, you know? I couldn't. I wasn't a fan of that. I rated this a 3.5 star. I am going to read the sequel only because it's a duology. Now, duology? That just sounded weird when I said it. If this was a longer series, I would probably be done with it. But since there's only one more book, I'm going to see what Ivy Marie talking about. Maybe I will like the sequel more. I don't know. But yeah, very middle of the road, not memorable for me, but would still recommend it because it might work for you. It might be your thing. Okay, friends, so it has been a very long time coming, but I have finally finished Rebel Witch after starting this book in July of 2025 and not finishing it until December. So if you don't know, Rebel Witch is the sequel to Heartless Hunter, which was one of my favorite books of 2024. So I was very excited and anticipating this release. Decided to pick it up in July of 2025. Wasn't really feeling it, so I set it down and didn't pick it back up until I, made the decision that I did not want to have this book lingering over me in 2026. So I kind of made myself finish it. In Heartless Hunter, we are following Rune, who is a witch, and she also moonlights as the Crimson Moth because in this world there are witch hunters, and they basically hunt down and execute any witch that is found. So Rune is in hiding as this socialite who doesn't really, don't even have two brain cells to rub together. And then on the other hand, she is the Crimson Moth going out to, do her vigilante thing and save these witches. And so Gideon, our love interest, is a witch hunter, and he suspects that Rune is the Crimson Moth. So he decides to kind of fake date, fake court, fake try to talk to her in that kind of way to get close to her, to find some proof that she is the Crimson Moth. And there's like a cat and mouse aspect of it as well. And in the first book, I just really loved Gideon and Rune as main characters. I wanted the best for both of them. I wanted both of them to have what they wanted, even though those things were contradicting. I didn't care. Rune and Gideon's banter was top tier. I just loved everything about Heartless Hunter. And so going into Rebel Witch, I felt like, my expectations were kind of high. I was expecting to at least like it as much as Heartless Hunter, but with this being the conclusion to the series, I was like, this might, bring some more heat, especially with the way that we left off in Heartless Hunter. And we immediately pick up right after those events in Rebel Witch. But it was just something about this one that made it very difficult for me to care. As much as I was endeared to Rune and Gideon in the first book, it was like I didn't even know them in this book, and I didn't care what they were doing, what they were talking about. The cat and mouse was like, I was just over it at this point because it was still happening. I'm like, it was so frustrating because there were plot twists and reveals, and I was just like, oh, okay. And honestly, it kind of feels like these books were written by two different authors, and I just don't know what happened, friends. I don't know what happened. I rated this a 2.5 star, and that was kind of off the strength of Heartless Hunter. I did like the ending of this and where Rune and Gideon ended up. Like I said, I thought the plot twists were interesting, but there was just something about this that made it really hard for me to care what was going on, and that was just very disappointing to me overall. But I'm just happy that I was able to finish this book out, and it will not be joining me in 2026 because another series down. All good things, at least in that sense. That's all I got. Okay, y'all, let us talk about the darkness within us. This is the second book in the Shadows Between Us series, I guess it's called. And in this one, we're following Chrysantha, who is Alessandra's sister from the first book. Chrysantha Stathos has won. By hiding her intelligence and ambition behind the mask of a beautiful airheaded girl, she has become a wealthy duchess. And once her elderly husband dies, she will have all the freedom, money, and safety she's ever wanted, or so she thought. A man claiming to be the estranged grandson of Chrysantha's lecherous late husband has turned up to steal her inheritance. To make matters worse, her little sister is going to be queen and is rubbing it in her face. Chrysantha decides that the only thing to do is upstage Alessandra at her own wedding. And as for this grandson, he has to go. Never mind that he's extremely handsome and secretive with mysterious powers. No, Chrysantha wants Eric's Demos dead. And in the end, a Stathos girl always gets what she wants. So I did not like Chrysantha when we met her in the first book. So I was very skeptical going into this one, and hoping that she had some growth as a character. Spoiler alert, she did not. She was very whiny and annoying, and it just kind of highlighted all the bad features that I felt like she had, all the bad characteristics. that I felt she had in the first book. I thought that over time, though, it got a little better. We start to kind of understand Chrysanthemum more, and she seemed less annoying. But then we had Eric's come in, and their bickering was just on 10 at first, maybe even 11 or 12. It just felt very overwhelming, and I hated how much they were arguing. But eventually that slowed down as they started to like each other or whatever. So I guess overall it became more palatable for me. And I thought that these were YA books, okay? I thought they were YA books. I went back and checked, and it said young adult, but this is definitely more on the new adult side because, friends, there were some things that happened in this book and that are discussed in this book. There are frequent visits to brothels and conversations had. I'm just like, this is a little much for a YA audience, and I wish we could establish a new adult genre because I think it is needed. I just think it's needed at this point so we can kind of differentiate, what's actually going on in these books, friend. I definitely think that the second half of this book partially redeemed Chrysanthemum for me. It definitely kept me interested enough to finish the book out because if it had kept going like the first half, I probably would have DNF'd this. But instead, I decided to finish it out and I ended up rating this a 2.5 star. It was just okay. It was fine. It's not something I'm ever going to think about again. I probably would unhaul it, but I want to keep the series together, so I'll hold on to it. I didn't hate it. It's just not something that I think that I will be, recommending going forward. But we completed a series, and I guess that's an accomplishment in itself. So that is going to be our last book of this video. And let's go ahead and get into the recap of what we read. We started off with Love Arranged being a 2-star, and then Heavenly Bodies was a 4-star, Rebel Witch was a 2.5 star, Immortal Consequences was a 3.5 star, and ending off with The Darkness Within Us being a 2.5 star. Friends, this just wasn't good. This was a mixed bag for sure, leaning towards the side of And so, we did end off 2025 on the best note, but here's to hoping that our 2026 reading will go better than this vlog did, okay? And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, anything that you do to support me and my channel. Friend, I greatly appreciate it. I hope you have the best day that you possibly can and a better reading time than I did in this vlog. And remember to take care of yourself. I will catch you in the next video. Bye.